Good morning all, just a quick update for Literatu and Scribo, just to show you some new features that are now live inside your Singapore community, ETD and SEAB. So I'll just open a student's work here and show you some things. First of all, when you're in a class and you want to grade the whole class, you now have the auto grade all essays capability. So as a teacher, if this activity is linked to a rubric that is linked to the machine auto grading capability, that there will mark all essays automatically for you in a matter of seconds. So it does about 100 a second now, so it's very fast. So that's there. Other things that we've got in the system is printing reports. So this is a new button in here. You can print the PDF report or the feedback report the student gets. If the writing check needs to be updated, it does a quick update there, but it prints out the writing report or the feedback report the students got from Scribo on the student side, and now that has a full export to PDF, so you can save that as part of a portfolio or whatever you like to do. So that's how that works. You go back to the online report and you close it out, and that's all in place. Some other features in the writing check. We've greatly enhanced our grammar capability. We now have, as you'll see in grammar and spelling, we've combined the two together. You've got all of the things that we can help you with. You've got grammar, you've got writing clarity. Clarity is really clever. Clarity is using a lot of AI to actually ask about, do you actually need to have certain words? Could you swap adverbs out? Are you saying the same thing twice here, fresh and crisp? We give selections and suggestions. So students have got a lot more support there in the clarity of what they're writing, as well as grammar and spelling. Of course, we have turned on plagiarism in your community as a trial for you. This piece of work here, it looked absolutely fine, looked very original. But when you run a plagiarism report, you find there's great slabs of it that have come from somewhere else. So plagiarism can take a while. You can, obviously this paper has been plagiarism checked before, so it's a copy of something in its database. But you've got here the quotes, the pieces that I think that have come from other places are all there, but that's the plagiarism checking, and it's certainly there for you to have a look at. It's not part of Scribo per se, it's run by Unicheck, but we do integrate with it. So it's quite an effective plagiarism checker that you can use in your class. So don't forget, auto-grade all essays is now there at a live monitoring level. Very handy to whiz through and get an automatic grade on all these things. It's very, very fast as well. It uses all of the AI functionality that's been trained, and that's underway. What I'll show you now quickly is our essay planning environment. So any writing task that you have for a student, you can, obviously you've worked the scaffold and the stimulus and all those things, congratulations. You've also got the ability to use an essay planner, and a plan is and can be made up of across any of these I guess methodologies you call them. We've got some methodologies, essay methodologies here in Australia called meal, peel, teal, punctuation, point, explanation, something and something else. I can't remember all the different acronyms, but they can of course be yours. So an essay is a generic one. What you'll find here is it gives students a way to plan their essay. This will come up inside their writing when they're actually writing. It'll come up with essay plan, and they can plan their essay and they can drag and drop words and all of these things that I guess help them prepare to write better. That's what it's all about, getting ahead of the writing. So the writing plans can be tailored by teachers, very much so, or they can just be by default handed over to a student to use. Of course, when the students are using the writing plan, the speaking works really well. So they can plan in their own words what they think they're going to write, and the system will keep up with them, and it will be much, much tidier than having them typing all the time when they're just thinking about things. It's pretty cool. So this, once you've got this in, you can drag them around. So if I put a text in here, I'll just put the first point of my essay in here. So let's put some more text in here. and we swap them around. So it's very flexible for teachers to set up a pro forma and students to use it when they're on their side over there. We have another really nice piece of work coming into the system called scaffolding, which is like a big checklist that teachers can set up as well. So these are just some extra little pieces that a lot of our users have said, can you put into Scribo? They're there if you want them. You don't have to use them, but they're very handy and they really add some value to the writing process for students. Okay, I'll quickly show you versions. So in each student's record now, there is a version control. So unbeknownst to them, every time they do a writing check, and you know, it's not a secret, but every time a student does a writing check, we snap a version. So you can see the two versions of a student. You can see what their version 1 was, and you can show the difference. Some of them don't have a difference. You know, some of them are just the students don't change. Sometimes you get, we'll just try and find one here that's got more than one version. Okay, here's an example of a student, this one here. It's got 4 versions. So 14 days ago, they have a live text, which is now the version. Version 3 was there, version 2, they were doing that, and version 1, they were doing that. So you can see the evolution of the essay across the timeline. That's all really what we're trying to show you. You can hide the difference, you can show the difference, and you can close versions out. Another great feature that we've been asked for is to track the marking status of a rubric. So if I was to grade this essay, what I can do is obviously give it a score and then add another one and then add another one. And so you can add as many of these grades as you like, and it will track the history of grading for each student. So the example could be a student gives you a draft, you give it a rubric grade. That's version 1. The student does some more work, comes back with version 2, you give it another grade. You can keep a track of the history of the grades, and the machine grading is tracked as well. Everything is tracked. And the new buttons up here are designed to give you the ability to add one, to hide the descriptions, obviously to make that a bit smaller, to run the estimate. So you can run an estimate on this one straight away, and you can go to full screen. It's my favorite, where if I can't remember how the rubric's really structured, you can go into a selection of full screen rubric tracking and it will fill in those boxes for you. So it's really, really functional. And again, it was all driven by teachers. So it actually works really well in a practice, you know, in a live environment. So keep in mind, you can now track revisions of rubrics. The piece that we're putting in now is a really good timeline series. So you can go onto any student's work and you can see the evolution of their rubric grade across the number of times that you graded it. And this can include themselves doing an estimate of their own grading. So it's really powerful, and it's going to form a great result for the class where we can see after an activity and some teaching, we can see where the impact has been made by the teachers and how well the students have picked up on the feedback. So great stuff coming through there. It should be there in the next week or 2, but I'll make sure I let you know about that graph because it's one of our special pieces that we're doing now. So we hope you enjoy all those things. If you need any clarification, please make sure you get in contact. We'd love to help. Bye for now.